I was born in a small town in western Massachusetts. I was the second of two girls and ended up being my mom's favored child, which was no great prize. As she would later tell me, I was her savior. Over time, I came to believe I was a savior to my whole family. It was my job to calm my mother so no one got hurt. To make matters worse, my father's focus was on my sister, leaving me without anyone who truly saw me. I wasn't always successful at my job. Sometimes no amount of smiling or cutting up with my mom would calm her, and she erupted like a volcano, explosively and with little warning. The violence in our home was so severe that my father was the first man in the state of Massachusetts to win custody of his children. Later, I learned my mother had to have threatened to kill me or my sister to lose primary custody in our state. In our case, she did so in front of a police officer. As I grew up, I thought I could handle anything that came my way. I was also my own biggest critic. My internal dialogue was often filled with lines like, "You need to stop talking," or "You are too sensitive." These were not words of compassion, but of criticism. I was constantly measuring myself against others. It was a never-ending battle. I was either better or less than everyone, never just in community with others. My whole life was a competition to feel okay and be enough. My mom's and dad's words often echoed in my head, along with my own internalized negativity, which I rehearsed again and again. I knew I was only increasing my suffering, but whatever I tried, the thoughts just kept coming and tormenting me. Eventually, I began to replay old behaviors in new relationships, taking responsibility for others' happiness. I felt either immense shame or anger when letting others down. It seemed everything was about my adequacy or inadequacy. Abuse has many negative impacts. It gives the abuser the false impression they are superior, while the abused feels inferior. It often leaves the abused individual with a deep-seated sense of shame, the feeling that they must have done something wrong. If the abused individual does gain the courage to speak out about the abuses they suffered, they are often accused of playing the victim. In reality, they were victimized and are now bravely speaking the truth. The brain also undergoes significant changes following trauma, especially repeated trauma. A person who has experienced such abuse and trauma often becomes paralyzed or debilitated, carrying a great weight of shame. In turn, they may be more comfortable developing relationships with others who have experienced significant trauma and have difficulty navigating relationships or with others who could re-traumatize them.